The apartheid policy was introduced by Hendrik Verwoerd, who was also known as the architect of apartheid. Apartheid called for the creation of distinct ethnic communities in South Africa to be separated. Apartheid, which simply means apartness, was a South African government regime that segregated citizens based on race in any area of everyday life from 1948 to 1994, entrenching white minority rule and discriminating against non-white population groups. It seemed to advocate for fair growth and cultural speech on paper, but the way it was applied made this unlikely. The policy prohibits marriages between Europeans and non-Europeans was one of the first pieces of colonial legislation passed since the National Party took over. It also states that it is illegal for a white person to marry anyone of another race. Sexual contact between a white male and a person of another color was illegal. Apartheid policy forced different ethnic groups to survive and prosper on their own terms, which was completely unjust. Since they were not of the same skin color, it was a social structure that disadvantaged the vast majority of people. It cruelly and physically separated men, and it used a terrifying state system to bully those who protested. It was often seen as much more powerful than apartheid because it was enacted at a period when the other countries were eliminating racist policies. Apartheid generated intense foreign and domestic criticism, culminating in some of the 20th century's most prominent global social movements. It was a constant object of UN criticism, and it resulted in a wide arms and trade embargo against South Africa. Apartheid was brought to the world's notice after the Second World War, leading the world to move away from those practices and promote decolonization demands. South Africa enforced a more rigid colonial policy known as apartheid at this period. Because of the need for labor, the apartheid government accepted these settlements to some degree, and one of the apartheid's internal inconsistencies was still the conflict between the need for cheap labor on the one hand and the need to reserve employment for whites on the other. Apartheid was mostly motivated by terror, since white people in South Africa are in the minority and many were concerned that they would sacrifice their occupations, culture and language. It is mostly seen as primarily a political construct, but construction and planning were crucial in putting apartheid policies into effect.
In the 1950 Population Registration Act, people were required to register according to their ethnic group under the Act. This is what began the division of races on a physical level, especially in urban areas. Apartheid was opposed by people from all walks of life and not just by those who had been negatively affected by it, as it was often assumed. Other countries have voiced criticism backing the South African independence campaigns. The government forcefully expelled black South Africans from rural areas and designated their homelands to the white. They even sold their land to white farmers at low rates, which was one of the most crippling facts of apartheid. Between 1961 and 1994, over 3.5 million people were forcibly displaced from their homes and deposited in the Bantustans, where they faced sufferings and desperation. Apartheid protest in South Africa has taken many forms over the years, ranging from peaceful marches, demonstrations, and protests to overt action, and inevitably armed resistance. When thousands of black children protested against the Afrikaans language provision for black African students in Soweto, a black township outside of Johannesburg in 1976, the police opened fire with tear gas and bullets. The ensuing demonstrations and government crackdowns, along with the national economic downturn, increased international attention to South Africa and smashed any hopes that apartheid had brought stability and prosperity to the country. In 1973, the United Nations General Assembly condemned apartheid, and in 1976, the UN Security Council voted to place a permanent weapons embargo on South Africa. Economic sanctions were imposed on the country by the United Kingdom and the United States in 1985. In 1994, a new constitution enfranchised blacks and other ethnic classes, and elections that year resulted in a minority government of a plurality of non-whites, officially ending this illegal occupation. Moving towards the man who sacrificed his entire life towards bringing an end to apartheid, Nelson Mandela. He was born on July the 18th, 1918 and enrolled as a part-time law student at Wits University and began practicing law, founding the first black law firm in the nation. He was the country's first black president as well as the first to be elected in a free and fair vote. His administration aimed to undo apartheid's legacy by combating institutionalized segregation and promoting racial reconciliation. The proposal requested that black South Africans bear badges at all times in order to access places reserved for whites. To oppose apartheid, Mandela and his ANC colleagues used peaceful tactics such as strikes and protests. Mandela contributed to the strengthening of the movement in 1952 as the organizer of the Defiance Campaign, which encouraged black people to defy laws on purpose. Apartheid regime, according to Nelson Mandela, left a deep and permanent wound in the people of South Africa. Mandela claims that his country has an abundance of minerals and jewels under its surface, but that its greatest asset is its women, who are better and more genuine than the purest diamonds. South Africa's apartheid regime was terminated by a combination of agreements and unilateral actions by the de Klerk government between 1990 and 1993. The African National Congress won South Africa's the first non-racial elections as a result of the talks. A lot of movies were inspired by apartheid and Nelson Mandela in particular. There was an entire movie based on Nelson Mandela's autobiography. One such movie that inspired many across the world was Invictus. Directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Morgan Freeman as Nelson Mandela and Matt Damon as Francois Pienaar. The movie is based on a true story. The film depicts the circumstances leading up to and after the 1995 World Cup, as Nelson Mandela pushed for South Africa to host the global rugby event as a way to get the nation back together after apartheid tore it apart. Nelson Mandela's release from prison and election as President of South Africa marks a watershed moment in the country's history. This transition away from apartheid would be difficult for everyone in the world, but Mandela must find out how to unite the country's people. This film tells us the inspirational story of how Nelson Mandela teamed up with Francois Pienaar, the captain of South Africa's rugby team, to help unite the nation. In the aftermath of apartheid, newly elected President Mandela recognizes that his country is racially and economically separated. Mandela rallies South Africa's rugby squad in their drive for the 1995 Rugby World Cup Championship match, believing that the common language of sport would bind his people together. 27 years. It's been 27 years since apartheid in Africa is yet to find its place in the world. The rule of a tiny white minority over the black majority, enslaving, ill-treating and robbing them of their homelands has scarred Africa for eternity. Till date, Africa suffers from poverty, political instability, revolts, etc. Mandela called Africa a rainbow nation, but all that is left of it is the dust from its devastating past. Africans are still segregated, paid lesser, forced to live in unhealthy conditions, surrounded by crime and corruption. Mandela worked his entire life to dismantle this horrendous system and bring justice to Africans. Apartheid might not exist as a name, but it surely exists as an ideology. Racism is still prevalent in even the tiniest incidents in the world. The legacies of corruption, land disputes, political instability are inescapable and continues to bedevil the nation. South Africa has and might suffer in the future, but one thing that is certain is that it won't give up. The world is changing and so is the African continent. Africa might be looked down upon by many, but it is a source of inspiration for nations who are yet to gain their freedom. Africa's will to improve is often sidelined. The country is almost terrorism-free, tourism is flourishing, and is continuously challenging the norms of racism. What Mandela envisioned 27 years ago will one day become true.